Enduring the curse of their caste, almost 70 years after independence, the land of the father of our nation, Gujarat, has been jolted. But this curse is not limited to periodical physical abuse of this kind. An India Today investigation has found that Dalits in Gujarat are in fact consigned to violently segregated lives, a virtual apartheid in Gujarat and the rest of the country. But the spotlight first on one of the country's fastest growing model states. Posing as tourists, India Today's reporters discover untouchability in Gujarat has survived the constitutional ban and remains sanctified fearsomely by religion. Ancient notions of purity and pollution appear to be commonplace at several temples as Dalits are shunned to preserve the so-called piety of the faith's upper caste custodians. Sitting at the doorstep of this Kali temple are Dalits. They aren't allowed inside the sanctum. A separate vase is placed for them at the sill to take a tilak from. Priests will not touch them. Between the doorway and the gods stands a firewall that Dalits cannot even think of crossing. They cannot even partake of prasad with others. It's delivered to them separately. All based on a wretched, ancient theory that stigmatizes Dalits as a burdensome contamination and exalts their isolation as purification.
मंदिर को भी पवित्र करना गंगा जल से यहाँ पे हरिजन भेजे तो लेकिन अंदर जाए तो हरिजन।
You've just heard this temple's regular caretaker nailing it. The age-old prejudices built around purity. One set of people labeling the other contagiously toxic.
मंदिर को भी पवित्र करना गंगा जल से यहाँ पे हरिजन भेजे तो लेकिन अंदर जाए तो हरिजन।
For these Brahmins, the Dalits are pariahs because of their occupations, such as leather work with cattle and menial jobs. They are also pariahs because of their birth.
जो ये धंधा नहीं करता हो वो भी नहीं जा सकता क्योंकि कुछ न कुछ तो धंधा करता है। धंधा नहीं करता पड़ता हूँ तो भी
Regardless of constitutional freedom and protection, Dalits in Gujarat remain stifled by religious sanctions, even at big tourist shrines like this one. Dalits are outcasts. Religious exclusion, Dalits have to maintain a distance even from God, let alone upper castes. Living in terrible poverty and humiliation, the community appears to have reconciled to unconstitutional decrees at the famous Nag temple in Unnava, Gandhinagar. Dalit devotees arriving here do not cross their designated boundaries. They are rejected because of their bad karma. That's how temple elders here justify the Dalit apartheid.
वो प्रसाद आके ले सकते हैं या हमें देना पड़ेगा?
आप दे दो ना,
हम दे दें।
हाँ आप साथ में दे दो, वो नहीं आ सकते। वो हमारे यहाँ वाले नहीं आते थे, हमारे यहाँ के हैं नहीं आते।
अच्छा, इस गांव के नहीं आ सकते?
इनकी है तो मना है।
अच्छा,
हिंदी की मना है।
अच्छा,
आवे तो इनका कर्म।
अच्छा।
Karma. That's how proponents of the caste system have portrayed stratification over ages. The top, so-called cleanest caste, the Brahmins, supposedly were born from the head of the creator. The bottom came from the feet, and the two cannot mix. So the temple caretakers defend alienation of Dalits as a divine order.
कि मैं उनको कह रहा था चलो अंदर, तो आ ही नहीं रहे अंदर। नहीं आ कह रहे मना किया है अंदर आने से। मैं कह रहे मना किया है। इनका मना इनकी है। आप लोगों की मनाई नहीं, मना इनकी है। इनका भी ये चमत्कार मिले ना जब पता पड़ता है, सबको चमत्कार मिले ना जब भी पता पड़े। तो यानी कि अगर ये इनका चमत्कार है, अगर ये लोग आएंगे तो इनके साथ बुरा हो जाएगा। बस समझ गए? ऐसा होता है? बस हाँ, चमत्कार है इनका, इसी से आप नहीं आते।
You just heard how the so-called guardians of religion continue to perpetuate anti-Dalit prejudices on the ground. A low-caste worshipper waiting outside claims Dalits are forced out physically if they ever walk into these temples. Too meek to resist, they surrender to the pressure. India Today's special investigation team visits another temple. This one's dedicated to Lord Ram. The priest here is blatantly outspoken.
लेकिन को क्यों नहीं आने देते आप?
एक वस्तु मानो, आपका प्राइवेट घर है, उसमें आप हमको अलाउ करो ना करो, तो मानो आपका घर है, हमने पहले ही कहा आपके घर में हमको एडमिशन देना या ना देना आपकी इच्छा की बात है।
An outrageous display of supremacy over faith, a methodical attempt in religion to keep Dalits out of the mainstream. Here in Gujarat, and everywhere else in the country as well. Acts of violence against lower castes, when caught, are prosecuted, but not the discrimination that appears to be relentless in economically thriving Gujarat. This is our India. With Amit Chaudhary and Arun Singh across Gujarat, this is India Today's special investigation team.
So is India's model state of Gujarat when it comes to Dalits not quite the model state we want it to be? Dr. Kancha Ilaya, Dalit ideologue and director, Center for the Study of Social Exclusion and Inclusive Policy, joining me from Hyderabad. Professor Praveen Mishra, activist and Jan Sangharsh Manch, joining me from Ahmedabad. Jai Narayan Vyas, leader of the BJP, joining me from Gandhinagar, former health minister in Gujarat. Jai Narayan Vyas. Gujarat leads on many economic figures, but on social indices, and particularly after this story clearly shows that Dalits do not have the kind of equality that they should. Would you concede that this is a blot on the model state of India, where Dalits are still denied in 2016 entry into temples?
Well, Rajdeep, even a single incident of this kind is a blot on the entire society. So there cannot be any justification or there cannot be any defense to it. But let me also talk to you the other side. I was also the minister in charge of the Pavitra Yatra Dham, which covered all major temples in Gujarat. And I can tell you that there is not a single temple. Go to Ambaji, go to Dakor, go to Dwarika, go to any major temple which is under the government. There is any such kind of difference which is drawn.
Sir, these are temples in Gujarat.
And any kind of.
Sir, that is, you know, we are showing you a harsh reality, sir.
Listen, Radip. I agree. Therefore, I began, Radip, saying that even a single incidence of this kind is a blot on the society and it should be dealt with seriously. So I am not defending it. But at the same time, you also have to agree that there is other side to the coin where you know, there is no such stigma now which is against Dalits. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, with the increase in education, urbanization and all that, if you visit the localities in the urban area, more educated, more developed area, I think you will not find this kind of a discrimination which was being narrated.
Let me bring in other voices. You're saying Gujarat is changing. Professor Praveen Mishra, is it true that Gujarat is changing? Am I exaggerating the situation with this report that we have shown?
You know, hearing Mr. Jainarayan Vyas, it appears that he comes from some other state. You know, a complete blatantly denying what is existing. India Today is not just the only channel which is breaking. There has been stories in the media again and again, and there has been extremely comprehensive study by Navsarjan Trust in 2010, and that says almost 98% of the temples in Gujarat, Dalits, are not allowed to enter. Now, what Mr. Jainarayan Vyas is trying to boast is the temples which are under government control. Now, the time you restrict entry in those things, he'll be put in jail immediately. He's boasting something which has to be normal across. Now, Gujarat textbooks, all the practices, even if
this
you say
98%, I do not agree. This is your own figure.
No, I can give you some other figures. Let's be very clear. That every figure that I have shows that in Gujarat there is a serious problem when it comes to Dalits. Frankly, even though it has only 2.3% of India's 200 million Dalits, Gujarat ranks very high in terms of atrocities against Dalits, and conviction rates are among the lowest in the country. Let's be very clear. That's the truth. But, I will say this, Kancha Elaya, the fact is, there are atrocities that take place in other states as well. Dalits have been denied entry into temples in Odisha. Recently, Dalits were forced to drink urine in Bihar. Do you believe that this is an all-India phenomenon? Is it limited to Gujarat, Kancha Elaya? Am I being fair in singling out Gujarat in the backdrop of what is happening in Una?
Now, Rajdeep, we have to look at it in the context, the way it has been projected. When a state is projected as model for development, what indicators should it have? Should it have only certain industries locating there, or should it have certain roads being laid? Or the other thing is that untouchability has been abolished there, that man-woman equality has been brought about there, the lifespan of people has been increased there. These are the indicators of development. Now look at what is
But should
happening.
we single out Gujarat? Should we single out Gujarat, or is this a national problem?
And ever since the BJP came, untouchability is there in other areas. Yeah, but the point I am trying to make is that ever since BJP came to power in center, did untouchability become their main focus for abolition, or cow protection became their main focus for abolition, which has a direct impact again on the Dalit economy, life and skin itself. As you have seen in Una, that if a dead cow is skinned, a living Dalit is being skinned there.
One minute, you're saying this is questioning the whole
Gujarat. Cow issue so seriously.
I take your point, sir. You're saying this raises serious questions over the fact that Gujarat claims to be a model state, and that Jainarayan Vyas,
putting the whole development issue on a very questionable process.
Yeah, let me take that to Jainarayan Vyas. Jainarayan Vyas, on most economic indicators, Gujarat can claim that it is well ahead of most Indian states. But when I look at social indicators, particularly in the context of social equality, as I gave you the figures, whether it is conviction or whether it is atrocities against Dalits, Gujarat ranks very poorly. So somewhere there's a mismatch between economic growth or development as you see it and social equality.
Look, Rajdeep, I think one will also have to understand certain peculiarities of the state. You are talking about a state which has 14% scheduled tribe population, which has 7.5% of scheduled caste population, which has 1/3 of the coastline and therefore a huge coastal fishing community population. It has the largest desert district in the country. So you know what are you talking about? You are talking about something which is
Sir, I am talking about the right of every Indian citizen to enter a temple. Sir, I am talking about the right of every Indian citizen to enter a temple.
Right. So
that should be my model Gujarat. I am proud to have been born in this wonderful state of Gujarat. I expect every citizen to be allowed entry. It is the state of our Prime Minister. It is a state which I want to be a model state.
I think Rajdeep, unfortunately, you are changing tracks very fast, and unfortunately, I am not as good as you changing the tracks so fast.
No, I'm not changing the track.
We were talking about Gujarat's Human Development Index, you asked me, and now all of a sudden you go back and question me that the Dalits are not entering.
No, social equality is part of human development.
Yes, you have every right, and so I am talking about, but what social equality without understanding the peculiarities of the state? Without understanding that every one out of the 4 persons in the state is either tribal or a scheduled caste person, without understanding that the state has a huge fishing population and 1/3 of the coastline of the country, without understanding that the largest desert district in the country belongs to Gujarat, how can you look at the state in isolation?
Praveen
Just
Mishra,
because
respond.
you have decided to identify certain parameters.
No. Praveen Mishra, respond. Praveen Mishra, respond to what you are hearing. Again, is the minister living in denial, or the former minister living in denial?
Till just about 2 years back, everything was fine with Gujarat. Now that things are coming out, now that people are getting the true picture of what the state administration has been doing over 15 years, now bechara Gujarat has like coastline, Gujarat has so many tribal population, Gujarat has this. What government has done is basically enhance the discrimination in every part. I will come to you, sir. Please give me the chance. Gujarat also has the lowest
general sweeping
daily wage for the laborers, and that basically Gujarat claims as an achievement in Vibrant Gujarat Summit. In the document you say that we have lowest, we don't have labor problems, and you don't have to pay them more. Now, we have the least amount of strikes. These are the things that you claim.
That is the lowest number of mandates lost, my dear friend. No, hold your tongue. It is the lowest number of mandates lost. We are talking about lowest number of mandates lost.
Correct.
As an economist, if you don't understand it, it is a pity. It is not the lowest
what you do to the laborers who protest, we know.
It is Mahatma Gandhi's legacy.
Maximum percentage of temporary laborers you have.
Mahatma Gandhi, Majur Mahajan, where the disputes are sorted out here across the table.
That you are not even paying minimum wage to 30,000 Safai Karmacharis.
The least number of...
Shame on your administration, Mr. Jainaran Vyas.
You are distorting the things.
You are defending undefendable.
My dear friend, don't use language
for the Dalit Safai workers, 30,000. Only in Ahmedabad you are not even paying the minimum wage. Forget about regularization.
You are talking about the list. Mr. Rajdeep Sir,
I'm talking about Dalits, I'm talking about Safai workers.
I am going to leave it there.
Them are Dalits.
I am going to leave it there. We have tried to ignite a debate.
Gentlemen, he should not have brought in.
No, gentlemen, 1 minute.
He should not have brought in that documentary.
No, 1 minute.
He is not able to defend himself.
No, 1 minute. I am going to make it very clear.
Talking about that documentary?
I am asking my producer to stop the tutu meme, please, because the fact is we are only trying to highlight what is happening in a particular state which is seen as a model state. It doesn't mean this isn't happening in other states, but after Una, people's eyes are waking up to another reality that also exists. Yes, Gujarat has some of the finest roads in the country, infrastructure, but what about social relations? And if Dalits are denied entry into temples, I believe this issue should be highlighted. It's not an issue about Gujarat, it's an issue about this country, sir, there. And the fact is that in 2016, Gandhi's Gujarat, Modi's Gujarat, how can you have Dalits being denied entry into temples? That's all I can say. I'm afraid, Kancha, we've run out of time. I know that we've not given you enough time. We will carry forward these debates in the days ahead. I'm sure we will take it not just to Gujarat, but to other states of the country as well. Coming up next on the news today, our good news story.